Welcome to the top shelf plastic ant lifter build along. The first step we'll start with is the wheels. Take one of the square nuts and one of the wheels and press the square nut into the slot. Once you have it aligned, you'll need to press it all the way in flush, either pressing it on the table or pressing it on the other wheel. I find using the other wheel convenient because it's already sitting there right next to it. Once you have that nice and flush, grab your set screw, insert it through the hole in the top of the wheel, and get it started in the square nut. You don't need to push it all the way through. A few turns is good as long as it's set in the screw or in the square nut. If you screw it too far, like I did right here, you'll see that it starts to come through the bottom. You don't want it to come through the bottom. That's where the drive motor goes. So leave a little space there and we'll fully tighten it later. See me here fixing my problem of tightening it too much. Now, when we put the tire on, you push it on from the back, push it all the way over the front till it almost feels like you pushed it too far. And then you can work on the tire onto the wheel, as you see here. And then the same on the back side. Make sure it's all in place. Then go ahead and insert the hex wrench into the hole in the top of the wheel and catch the set screw. Grab your drive motor. They have a flat spot on them because they use a D shaft. Make sure the flat spot aligns with where the set screw is in the square nut. Push the wheel on until the outside of the wheel is flush with the drive shaft, and then go ahead and tighten down your set screw. There'll be a little bit of a gap on the motor side, and that makes it center just right in the chassis when you drop the wheel in. Go ahead and do the same for the other wheel. Since this is a lifter bot that uses a servo, we need to make sure the servo is zeroed properly before we install it in the chassis. To do that, we kind of have to mostly wire it up, turn on the remote, put it in the zero position, and we'll be good to go. It'll look like the picture on the bottom left when we're through. First thing you need to do is grab one of the lever clamps and insert the red wire from the charge jack into the first slot. Clamp it down. Now grab the red wire from the XT30 pigtail, put that in the second slot, and then grab the red wire from your servo connector, which is already stripped back, and put it into the third slot. Now grab your second lever clamp. We'll only use two slots on this one. Connect the black wire from the charge jack into the first slot, and the black wire from the XT30 into the second slot. And plug that XT30 to the corresponding plug on the drive speed controller. And then grab your receiver and the 3-pin connector from the drive ESC, put it into channel 2 with the white wire towards the middle or the inner of the receiver body. The servo connector goes into channel 3 and the same orientation. Then you can go ahead and plug in your battery. I also plug in the yellow wire in this step. It's not necessary for what we're doing in this step, but it's good for consistency so you know how it plugs in later. Looks just like the picture. Now you can go ahead and set the servo arm onto the gear. Don't screw it down yet. This is really for demonstration. When you power on the remote, power on the robot, you'll see it move. Now it's in what is going to be zero in relation to the remote. So you'll put your remote left-hand stick to the bottom and then pop off the arm and put it on the gear so it looks like the picture in the top left of the screen. And just for example, I'm going to take it off, move it one tooth over so you can see there is a visible difference between one tooth and the other. Once you have it in place, grab the Phillips head screw that came in the hardware bag with your servo and tighten that down. This is a good one to use some Loctite on. Once you have that tightened down, plug in the charge jack to turn off the robot, then turn off your remote, set it aside. Now we're going to attach the servo linkage to the servo arm. Grab the servo linkage and then the silver M2 8mm screw, attach it through the small hole in the linkage to the last hole on the servo arm, as you see indicated in the picture above. It should look like that when you're done. Now go ahead and unhook everything. We will hook this up again later in the process once everything's in the chassis. The next step is installing the charge jack, the body standoffs, and the standoffs for the servo hold down. So first thing, we'll insert the charge jack into the chassis, attach it with the jack nut. That's the little ring you see bouncing around. When you open your kit, it'll already be screwed on the charge jack, so you just need to take it off and then put it back on to fasten it to the chassis. You just make it hand tight and then grab a pair of pliers and snug it up. You don't want to go super duper tight because you can strip the threads if you over tighten. Note the routing of the wires with the plug from the charge jack through the hoop. After you insert the standoff for the body, grab a 632 1/4" screw and tighten it from the bottom. Once that's done, go ahead and do the other three. Now we can move on to the standoffs for the servo. Those are 440 3/4", they're a little smaller than the other ones. Go and put those in and attach them from the bottom using a 440 1/4" screw, similar fashion to how we attach the body standoffs. Now that that's done, we can move on to attaching the lifter scoop and installing the servo. The first part of the step is to install the servo into the chassis. Go ahead and get your wires sorted out from the servo and route them under the hoop so they're on the right-hand side of the chassis. And then pop the servo into its home there right in the middle. Now that you have that done, grab the servo hold down. Note the orientation. The opening in the servo hold down goes towards the rear of the chassis, and tighten that down with the remaining two 440 1/4" screws. For the next step, we'll be attaching the lifter scoop to the servo linkage, or the lifter linkage is the term we like to use. So grab one of your round standoffs, run it through the linkage, and then it's going to pop into a bit of a cavity in the scoop. This can be a little awkward to get it lined up, so you have a little patience as you do it. Line it up with one hand, and then start threading in the screw, the 632 1/2" screw, to get it into place. Once you have that screw started, you can tighten it down with your hex wrench. Once that's done, we can take the remaining 1/2" 632 screw and tighten that down. And now we've attached the lifter scoop to the servo, but how do we make it flip up and down? It needs to have some sort of hinge to rotate on. That's what the other round standoff is for. Grab the small washer and the 632 1/4" screw and get that started on one side of it. Then tighten it down as best you can with your hand and a hex wrench. Now go ahead and put the washer on the screw for the remaining one. Saves a little time. Now take your hinge and align the hole in the scoop with the hole in the hoop and slide it through. Once it's through, go ahead and grab the remaining screw and washer and tighten those down. Now that's tightened down, your lifter moves up and down as it's supposed to. Congrats. And you'll note the hinge is kind of a floating hinge, so it can move back and forth. It's designed to do that. Now we'll move on to the drive pods. You want to pause the screen right now. This is where it has the wiring and some tips on how to insert the wires in the drive pod. Once you've finished looking at that, we can start with the left-hand motor. It's going to use the tan and purple wires from the drive ESC. Carefully slide them through the back of the drive pod. It will be a bit of a snug fit that is on purpose. That way they don't move once we slide them back in there later. So slide them through and be careful not to be aggressive and bend the wires or the connectors. It makes for a difficult install if they're bent. So once you slide them through, they'll pop out the front and attach the tan wire to the positive tab on the motor. You may feel a bit of a pop or a click when you get it all the way down. It's going to end up pretty well flush with the back of the motor. Once you have those popped on, carefully slide it back into the drive pod, grab the cap, and exit the wires towards the bottom. When we go to install this in the chassis, the first thing we need to do is run the drive ESC and the leads for the other motor through the hoop so they end up on the right-hand side. And when you install the drive pod, you install it at an angle. So the rear of the drive pod goes underneath the hoop, and then it will just kind of snap into place where it goes. Make sure you don't pinch any wires underneath it in the process. And when you're ready, you flip it over, holding in place with your finger. Grab one of the M2 8mm screws and thread those into the drive pod to attach it. It's a self-threading screw, so it may require a little bit of force to put in, but it's digging its own hole and it'll keep it nice and snug. Once you have the first one done, do the same for the second screw. Now we can move on to the right-hand motor. It wires up very much the same as the left-hand motor. You'll insert the remaining blue and green wires through the back of the drive pod. When they pop out the front, the blue wire will go to the positive tab and the green wire will go to the negative tab. And go ahead and slide those back through the drive pod. Put the cap on, exiting the wires towards the bottom. And this one's going to be, it's a bit of a snug fit to install with the other motor in there. It's going to install the same way, pop in an angle, line it up, snap it in. Make sure you're not pinching any wires in the process. But sometimes you have to put a little force on this one. So you'll see towards the end, I just kind of push it down and it snaps in. There it goes, pops into place. Attach this from the bottom the same way as the other motor using the M2 8mm silver screws. From here, we'll move on to the wiring, which is something you're already familiar with because we had to do most of it to zero the servo in the first step. So grab your lever clamp and attach the red wire from the charge jack to the first slot in the lever clamp. Take the red wire from the XT30, put it in the second slot on the lever clamp. and grab the red wire from the servo connector and put that in the third slot and make sure everything is clamped down. Now for the other lever clamp, we'll only need 2 slots. The black wire from the charge jack goes into slot 1. The black wire from the XT30 goes into slot 2. Now you'll take the yellow wire from the receiver or the drive speed controller, put it into channel 1 on the receiver on the inner pin. The 3-wire connector from the drive speed controller goes into channel 2 with the white wire on the inner pin, and the servo connector goes into channel 3 with the white wire on the inner pin. Then you can go ahead and connect your XT30 pigtail to the corresponding connector on the drive controller. Then grab the plug for your charge jack, plug that in to ensure the robot is off, so nothing happens when we plug in the battery. The battery slots in next to the left-hand side of the servo. That'll also hold a 9-volt or a 3S if you choose to upgrade the voltage. On a lifter, if you upgrade to 3S, it does require a voltage regulator, which can be discussed at a later time. But the lever clamps slot into the cubby hole and above the right wheel. The receiver goes next to the servo with the wires exiting to the right, and the drive ESC and remaining wires pack in between those two. Once we have those done, we can move on to putting the lids on. The lifter uses a 2-piece lid, so you'll want to open up the lifter scoop to put them on. And the right and left hand lid go on each with 2 632 screws. A neat feature of having a 2-piece lid is you can change the battery with only 2 screws. Very fast. There you have it. We've assembled the top shelf lifter kit. Let's do some testing. Since it's a lifter, we don't have to test in the test box like the spinners. We can drive it around right on the table and play with the lifter scoop a little bit. Now we can demonstrate the self-righting. So if it's upside down, all you do is kick the servo scoop up and it'll flip back over. There you have it. You built your top shelf kit and wish you the best of luck on your first turn.